Jerry's got the bicycle pump, pumping for all he's worth. And he's got this foot pump between his knees like he's summers with the thigh mask. I'm admiring this action. He goes, pedal hard, boys. I had the pleasure to work with Jerry for about 5 years. He's one of the best hatchery managers I've had the pleasure of working with, and just want to thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. And we did catch fish. Yeah.
Floor is open. Anybody wants it? That'll be something. All right, well, while you guys are thinking of more stories, I'll tell one how Jerry proposed. Okay? This is pretty good. You know, it was a slow day up at Cabinet Gorge Hatchery, not much going on, and one of my bio aides says, hey, Joe, you know, we ought to pull a practical joke on Jerry. And I said, what do you got in mind, Callie? And he goes, you know, can your mom and dad recognize your voices? And I said, no. And he said, well, I think you just proposed. And I said, ooh, bing. The old light goes on. I said, yeah, I think I did. So I called up Dad, and I said, hey, Dad, you're not going to believe it. Kelly and I are finally getting hitched. And Dad goes, oh, that's great, that's great. A year and a half, later, oh, that's fantastic, that's fantastic. Finally, you guys are getting married. When are you gonna get hitched? And I said, well, it'll probably be when Killian gets out of school, probably in June sometime. And we'll have a good time. We'll probably have it here at Ashton. Oh, Dad, by the way, I got an alarm right now. I've got to run right now, but I'll call you right back. So I hung up the phone. And I'm just going, yeah, right. And so, meanwhile, Jerry's bio aide gets on the phone, it was a hatchery phone, and ties up the line so Dad couldn't get back through. So Dad's calling till he was calling his girlfriend back in Iowa and hadn't talked to her a while, so they tie up the phone till 2 o'clock in the morning. Dad now tries back until about 1 o'clock his time, trying to get a hold of Jerry. Hey, what's going on, right? And then Jerry decides to take off for the weekend. So he's gone the whole weekend, right? So on Monday, Dad calls up Jerry and says, hey, Jerry, boy, that's just great news. That's fantastic news. And Jerry goes, well, what are you talking about, Dad? And he says, well, you're getting married. You're getting hitched. What? Yeah, when you called me on Friday, you said you were getting married and everything. I said, Dad, I never said that. Oh, sure you did. You did. On Friday, you called me up and you told us we were getting married and you're going to get married in June. And Jerry goes, Dad, I never said that. You don't think Joe maybe pulled a practical joke on you, do you? Oh, Joe, he wouldn't do that. He's my favorite son. Okay, he didn't say that. He definitely didn't say that. But anyway, so he goes, oh, he wouldn't do that, would he? And Jerry goes, Dad, I think he did because I never did that. And so anyway, Mom, and then the worst part about it was Mom then gets on and said, the worst part about this whole thing is all weekend I've been calling up all the relatives and letting them know that Jerry's finally getting married, and now I got to call them all back and tell them they're not getting married. So we got married. Yeah, they had to get married, right? But Jerry got even with me one time. He was in Chapels, the grocery store there in Hagerman. And so he did get even with me. And so he has Kelsey Jordan along, and they're just little. And they're going through the check, going fishing, going to get some stuff, and they got the stuff on the counter, and the cashier goes, hey, Joe, how are you doing? And Jerry looks over at her and he goes, don't say anything. This is my other wife, and these are my kids. Just don't say anything, because Terry doesn't know. And the gal just turned white. White as a ghost, and she doesn't work there anymore either. I don't know whatever happened. But anyway, so that's how he got even with me. That was pretty good. I called Joe up that night, and I said, Joe, there's a gal in Chapel's Market who's got dark hair. I don't think I'd go in there if she's working for a while. Didn't have to worry about that. She quit, I think, right after that. But anyway, that was pretty good. Oh, boy.
So Joe, wasn't there 3 times because of the rock? Yeah. You put a rock in?
Yeah.
Oh, that was you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve.
My name is Steve. I used to teach aquaculture at CSI. And one of the highlights of our field trips would be to go to the Niagara Springs hatchery, because Jerry was always so upbeat and positive and enthusiastic every time. And he'd always ask the students what their plans were, and a lot of them were planning on staying in aquaculture. He said, well, if you're going to go with fish and game, go with the fish part of the fish and game, because we get our time off during hunting season. So many of my students into fish and game people by telling them that. So I never went fishing and hunting with him, but he's responsible for a lot of hunting and fishing fish and game people.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Oh no, my old boss.
Hi. I don't know anything in here.
Oh, good. I'm doing good now.
I have to tell you a little story about this is more of my wife than it is on
Okay.
Jerry in a way. Jerry was working for me up at Sawtooth and loved to hunt. And one year he had a great season. He had his deer, got his elk, I don't know, maybe a bear. And my wife and I were out cutting wood one evening, and we were coming back to the hatchery, and here comes Jerry's truck up the road. So I stop and we roll down the windows, we're chatting, and I said, "What are you doing?" He's, "Oh, I'm going out elk hunting." And oh, okay, great. Hope you have some good luck. And talked about where to go and all that good stuff. And finally rolled up the windows and away to go. Becky says, "Doesn't he already have his deer and his elk?" And I says, "Yeah." "Well, what's he doing?" I said, "Going hunting again." "He can't do that." And so I let her stew for a while. And a little longer. We just about got back to the hatchery, and she's getting mad. I'm going, "Becky, that was Joe." So that was her introduction into the twins here. And I says, "You can always tell them apart." I says, "Joe's the smart one."
His retirement party.
Well, I appreciated working with Jerry. Jerry was just a delight to work with. And I never worked with Joe, but it was kind of probably like working with Joe. Very similar. And I remember he took me to the infamous Island Park hunting camp one year. And we were sitting around the fire, and they had this wonderful motorhome. And I remember I was going to go in and get a drink of water, and the sink doesn't work. So there's a bottle over there, and well, it's getting a little cold. He said, "Yeah, the heater doesn't work either." So we're sitting around the fire, and he's got a light, and I think it was just a lantern in the motorhome because the lights didn't work. And I says, "That's really, really pretty cool." He had mouse traps set all over the floor. And I said, "What is all this about?" And about that time we looked up in the window, and there's mouses walking along the windowsill, carrying a potato chip bag, I think.
In the shadow, it looked like it was this tall. It's like, whoa, it's a rat!
It was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah, his hunting experiences were phenomenal.
Yeah, good times around the
Yeah.
campfire.
Appreciate
What
it.
about a snow machine? Wasn't there something about a snow machine?
That would be probably something for Tom's retirement.
I remember your snow machine was the one without the handle on the back because they took it off with the snow blower.
That's it.
So, Jerry, you've always been very frugal.
Very. Yeah.
Very frugal. And when we lived at the Stanley Hatchery, where you were, you came home one day with this beautiful new couch.
Oh, jeez.
Where'd you get this couch? I went to Jerome, to the auction. Cost me $4. So I'm just hoping that when you move up to the Hinderwoods in Orofino and all couch somewhere else.
I give it to
By
the
now,
kids.
you've probably gotten your money's worth out.
Yeah, okay. All right, Jack.
It's already up there.
Sorry, it's still up there.
With duct tape.
Duct tape.
All right.
Yes, duct tape.
Good, good.
If you move the cushions, you can find a Whopper.
That's what the mouse traps are for.
Does anybody else have anything? I hope not. I just have one other quick one here. You know, I'll keep sitting for it, but you know, it was really fun working with Jerry, you know, as a twin brother over at Niagara Springs Hatchery, because we could always pull jokes on a lot of the students that would come and tour. So the one particular teacher from Magic Valley High School would always bring his class over to Jerry's place first, and then they'd come over to my place. Only he wouldn't tell them there were two of us, right? And so he'd always go, and Jerry'd give him a tour, and then they'd come over to my place, and Pete was in on it, and he'd say, okay, we're going to go over to this other hatchery, and so you saw what Idaho Power and all the nice stuff, and you know, Hagerman's funded a little bit different. So when Jerry gets over there, he'll kind of explain to you a little bit about Hagerman Hatchery. And so they'd come over here, and then Pete would say, hey, how we doing, Jerry? And of course the kids wouldn't know. I mean, I'd just play along like I was Jerry. And I can't tell you how many times we would get done with the tour all the way around and explain it to them. And I said, you know, boy, and usually somebody would say, well, how did you get over here so fast? And, oh, you know, I know all the back roads and everything. It's pretty easy. Anyway, so at the end, we get down to the bottom, and Pete would say, hey, okay, this is going to be on the test. What is different about your tour guides? And they'd look at him, no, I don't know, what's different about tour guides? What do you mean? Well, is that tour guide the same one that you have now? Well, yeah, of course it is. And all of a sudden, he'd go, no, this is Joe, his twin brother. And all these students would just look at you and go, what? I had one girl sock me so hard in the arm, I couldn't move it for 3 days. She just hauled off and belled me, and, oh, what are you doing? That's horrible. But anyway, I'm going to miss that. Yeah, well, as a follow-up.
Your hatchery second.
As a follow-up to that, he had a group come over to my place after he had the group go through his place, and they come over to my place and scheduled to do a tour at my place, and I just started talking to him, and the one teacher says, how did you get over here so quick? And I had no clue what she was talking about. I said, what are you talking about? Well, you were just over at Hagerman, and now you're over here. And I thought, I work here. Well, you were just working over at Hagerman. And I said, well, I work here now. Oh, you don't lie to me. And she started giving me this lecture about, you don't lie to old people. That is just wrong and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, she's serious? I better back down. I said, okay, well, I just took back roads. and that satisfied her, and she quit complaining. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's been fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Crazy. Well, I guess
Daughter, this is going to be good, probably. Here.
Hi, Kelsey.
Hi. I actually have one that kind of involves Doug too, and according to a promise Jordan and I kept, possibly Tanner in the future. Yeah. So, around, 6 or 7 years old?
Yeah, right about.
The first Harry Potter movie came out. And I don't know how familiar any of you are with the story, but basically there's the villain who wears this massive cloak, and it's really only seen in kind of darker scenes, and it was Halloween. And Jordan, our mom would read us the Harry Potter books at night, and we were big fans of the series, and Dad was never really in on the story, didn't really realize how terrifying this villain was for us. And so, October, as the month is kind of building up, and in the story, some of the main characters die on Halloween, which is important, because this character comes and hunts people down. And so the month coming up of October, we start hearing between these two just like, hey, have you guys seen that guy? What guy? What guy? He's like walking around here at night. Really, really tall, he's in all black. No, what is he? And they've been building this up all of October, and you just all of the time, our mom was sitting there like, don't do this, Jerry. Don't do it. If you go through with this, you have to put up with them. I don't want anything to do with it. This is you. And they just, oh, it's fine. It'll be fine. They'll be okay. and we'd be leaving, walking up to the school bus, and you just see Doug, hey, I saw that guy last night. He was outside my window. I saw him there. Just, really? And it was 6 and 7-year-olds. We're so young. And Halloween comes around, and for some reason, I'm not sure why, Mom was out of town, which had to have been planned. And Jordan decides to dress up as Harry Potter for Halloween.
My favorite book character, right? Nothing can go wrong
Of course,
there.
you know, childhood is great. And we took eyeliner, which it was waterproof, and so it wouldn't come off. And we put a scar on his forehead. And then we go out trick-or-treating, and we come back, you know, it's still kind of early in the night, and we're counting our candy, and you kind of hear, hey, you guys, come here, come look out the window. So we go over to, and we look over at Dad, and he's got the door open, he's kind of like peering out the window, and, okay, why, what is it? Walk over there, and you were still on the couch, but I walked over and there's a guy. There was a guy in our yard in a black cloak, slowly walking towards our front door. And I said, Jordan, come over here. And he comes and he looks out the window, and the guy's like speed walking at us with his arms out. He looks like he's flying towards our door. And I freaked out and went and ran behind the couch.
That whole time, I think it's Voldemort coming to kill me because he thinks I'm Harry
Harry
Potter.
And oh my gosh, these kids. Kelsey went running. She tried squirreling underneath the
I got
the couch.
out behind the couch first. Luckily, Jordan, who, after I left, you go running towards the door with your arms spread out, this massive something in the hood to make him taller, flying towards us. And Jordan freaks out, tries to go under the couch.
He's trying to dig the carpet to try to get underneath the couch. It was crazy.
And the worst part about it all is we're crying and we're screaming. Jordan's like rubbing at his face, trying to get the scar off his forehead. And we turn to look at Dad, who greets him at the door and invites him into our home.
I wanted candy.
And then for months afterwards,
Years.
he would complain to Mom, the kids won't stop knocking at our door at night, and she would just, that was your own fault. And years later, we would still be afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Little trauma event there. Sorry, Kelsey. Sorry, Kelsey. Oh, that was something. I've never been so afraid because these guys were literally, I've never seen two kids more afraid. They were literally, Kelsey was diving and screaming and stuff behind the couch. Jordan's trying to go, you know, there's that big of a gap underneath the couch. And he's trying to get under there. He's doing this number, trying to get under that couch. And, what the heck? This is a good joke. You know, and it wasn't. Oh my gosh. A lot of trauma.
Jerry, I can hear my mom right now. In her most earnest voice saying, are you proud of yourself?
No. And not a Halloween goes by that I don't hear that story.
There was two people that told us not to do that. One of them sitting right here.
Yeah. Well, they both knew better. I mean, they knew the truth, yeah. Oh my gosh.
There's one more I have to tell you that Elaine told me to wait until tonight. I was going through Burger King one afternoon, and there was a car in front of me. As I pull up to the window to pay, the girl goes, hey, you don't have to pay, the guy in front of you paid. He bought your dinner.
Time out. So I see Doug behind me in Burger King. I thought, you know, this is that. I just watched Pay It Forward. This is a perfect opportunity to pay it forward. I'm just going to be a nice guy. And so I thought, I'm really going to make brownie points with the clerk, you know. I'll say, hey, look, this guy back here, what's his bill? And she told me, I said, let me go ahead and pay for that. And oh, I feel good. You know, I'm going to go ahead and pay for that guy. So that's my story. So go ahead.
As I pull up to the window, the girl says, "Hey, there's no cost for your dinner. The guy in front of you paid for it." And I look and I said, "Jerry, go like this." And I look up at the girl and I went, "Oh, that man, is it any wonder I love him? He's gonna get a huge kiss when I get home." And I drive off and I go, "I'll see you at home, honey." So I tell Colleen and she falls off the couch. She's laughing so hard. This never happened. He thought it happened. And he says, "Oh, great, one more store I can't go in anymore." Because somebody thinks that.
Or it's a Burger King with home of what?
So Colleen says, "Oh, just go with it, just run, just tell him the story." And I said, "Well, it never really happened." She goes, "It doesn't matter, just tell him the story. I want to see him talk about it for years." Well, I can't go into that Burger King. I can't do this, I can't do that because somebody's already done something. It never happened.
You turned all these years. Oh my God.
She would laugh so hard she'd go, "Do that voice again, do the voice again." Oh, I can't wait till he gets home. I can give him a big kiss.
You know how many whoppers I missed out? Oh my gosh.
Wonder you're eating equal whoppers.
No. Yeah, it's the only whopper I could get, the one on the dash. Oh my, I did not, well, thanks for tuning me in.
When I told the story, she made me promise not to tell you until tonight.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, Kelleen was always doing practical jokes on me too. And I remember one time, she knew Steve Huffaker real well, and like Joe said, Steve Huffaker paid her to come out and plant a kiss on the new manager, right? And well, she didn't want to do that, but she came out and asked if I wanted to go out. Ashton, yeah, I'll go out. And so we went out and everything, and that started. But then she found the Chapman practical joke gene, and boy, did she come up with some good ones. Oh my gosh, I remember she knew Steve Huffaker real well, so she called Steve and told him to call me at 4:30 in the morning for a sunrise meeting, because this is right when Island Park, they were draining it, and to clean it out and dredge all the dirt that washed out. And so Steve calls, I get a phone call 4:30 in the morning. "Yeah, Jerry, it's Steve Huffaker." And I said, "Steve, what can I help you with this early?" And well, we need a representative for Fish and Game to go up to Island Park Reservoir, and they're going to have a sunrise meeting with the governor, and we need a Fish and Game representation. And I said, "Well, what about Mark Gamblin? He's the regional supervisor." "Well, he's quite a ways away, and the sun's going to be coming up, and the governor's flying in, and you need to be there." And I thought, well, what do you want me to say? And he said, "Oh, just make up some stuff that, you know, we'll get this cleaned up, and we're going to do our best, blah, blah, blah." And I thought, oh boy. And he said, "Dress nice, dress really nice, and so when you get up there, because there's going to be TV cameras rolling." I thought, oh, great. And so I get all ready to go, and he hangs up, and so I call Mark Gamblin. And Mark Gamblin says, "Jerry, I don't know anything about a sunrise meeting." And I said, "Well, Steve just called me, and you probably ought to come up there and cover me, you know, as soon as I get done talking or whatever. You need to, you know, say the right stuff." And so he says, "Okay, I'll do that." So he calls Steve Huffaker. I did not know this. He calls Steve Huffaker, and Steve says, "Well, Mark, what day is it?" And Mark goes, "Well, it's Thursday. What's the date?" "April 1st. And who are we dealing with?" "Chapman." "Oh, okay. So I don't need to go up to Island Park." "No, Mark, you don't need to go up. Unless you want to go up to Island Park, you don't need to go up to Island Park." So I went up to Island Park, and I'm up at Island Park, and I didn't go up to Island Park. I'm getting out, and Kelly kept saying, "Well, Jerry, I'll make you breakfast or something. You got to have something to eat before you go up." And "No, I don't have time. And so I go over to the office, and as I'm walking to the office, Mel Sadecki's drapes were open that wide, and I see a head popping out, and all of a sudden the drapes go closed. And I thought, that's kind of weird. why would Mel be up this early in the morning and closing his drapes when I look up at him? And so I just thought, good thing none of it. I get back down to the office, and Kelly calls me, get Jerry, you want some breakfast, something? And I said, no, I gotta get up there, hon. Don't call me again. I'm on my way out. Jumped in the truck, started up, and she comes running down and bangs on the window and Jerry, you know, I got breakfast here. Kelly, I don't have time to eat. I gotta go up there. And she says, well, who called you? And I said, Steve Huffaker. And she goes, well, what day is it? I said, Thursday. What the heck are you talking about? And she goes, well, what's the date? And I said, I have no idea. I don't care. And she says, I think it's April 1st. And I said, April 1st. And in your mind, you're still thinking, I got to get up there. Quit talking to me. I got to get up to the thing. And April 1st is finally, all of a sudden, the light bulb went on. And I said, April 1st? And she starts laughing. And I said, ooh, you guys got me good. And she starts laughing. So Huffaker didn't know anything about this part yet. So I waited about a half hour, and I call up Steve Huffaker at his house, and I said, Steve, I'm sitting up here at Island Park. I was at my house. I said, I'm sitting up here at Island Park, and I'm calling you from the payphone. There's nobody up here, and it's sunrise. And you said there was going to be a sunrise meeting with the governor. There's nobody up here. Absolutely no Forest Service guys, nothing. And you can hear him got his hand over the phone, and you could just hear him laughing in the background with his wife. And then he comes back on, well, there's nobody up there, huh? No, nobody up here. Well, stick around a little longer. and then he covers his hand over the phone. You can hear him laughing. And so I said, Steve, how long do you want me to stay up here? And he gets, you hear, how about just another couple hours, just another couple hours. And I said, Steve, I know it's a joke, but you got me good. That was a great pretzel, probably one of the best ones I've had. Good job. And he starts laughing. Oh my gosh. That was a good practical joke. But she always had good practical jokes for me. I don't think I ever got even. And then Kathy comes along and she follows the tradition and does, and it's good practical jokes. So, anyway. Does anybody else have any stories or anything? I need to wrap it up. Well, I guess thank you so much for coming out. This has been a huge turnout. I told Cassie, you know, when we first, you know, were thinking about this, I said, you know, I don't care if 5 people come, 10 people come. You know, I don't really care. I want those prints. I want my certificate. I'm so cheap. That's all I care about. And whatever else, if anybody shows up, that'd be great, you know. And so then she says, oh, we got a few more people showing up, and a few more people showing up. Hey, great. This could be a fun time. And I was surprised Derek showed up and Joe showed up because class auction's going on right now. It's Tuesday night, so I figured they get a new couch or something. Yeah, but I just come back, got here about a half hour, but got home about a half hour before this started. But I just want to comment, Derek Tuttle, our fishery tech, got the American Red Cross Hero of the Year award today, and there was a big fancy shindig up at the Red Lion Riverside, and he was presented with a Red Cross trophy for saving this gal's life from the intake this winter. So it was a huge deal, and bunch of probably 500 people or so at this banquet, and legislators, the governor's wife, and the mayors of Caldwell and Boise and their wives, and the legislators, and very well done by Derek and all the other. There were 9 other recipients, and it was just a big, you know, honor day for. And Derek, a fellow Fish and Gamer, got the award this year, so very proud of him. Good job, Derek. But I'm going to miss all you guys. This is fun, and this is what Fish and Game, my career has been about, is just the camaraderie and the fun and the practical jokes and all the good stories and everything else. And it's meant a lot to me, and I'm going to miss everybody here, and I really appreciate everybody for driving down. Holy smokes, this is a lot more people than I expected, and just I admire you for driving on a weeknight when you have to go to work tomorrow or whatever, and so yeah, it's rub it in here. But anyway, thank you so much for coming, and feel free to visit and everything, and feel free to come up to the house. I'll be sitting there twiddling my thumbs, counting turkeys and deer and stuff like that. So
Duct tape and boats.
yeah, duct tape and old boats,
Getting U-Hauls stuck.
everything else. So you're all welcome to come up to the house anytime. And I've enjoyed my fishing game career, and it's been a blast. And enjoy yours, because it goes by so fast. So thank you all again for coming out.